Make a difference by making a decision. Take a leap of faith, believe in your product and make a strong decision. You know, the thing is, if you are playing your own game and you're different, in the beginning everybody will laugh at you because you're not swimming with the stream, because you're doing something else. And everybody will blame you. It's like, what are you doing? This is not our style. This is not how it's supposed to be done, and so on and so forth. But you will laugh back at them at a certain point because they're all playing it just safe and they're just playing the boring game that everybody else is playing just to be an acceptable part of the mass. But being an acceptable part of the mass doesn't sound like great quality when it comes to entertainment. When it comes down to entertainment, you want to be outstanding, you want to blow people away, you want to show your magnificent talent and all the incredible amount of work that you've put into in creating that character and building your craft and fortifying your skill. Being an actor means sometimes to make a courageous decision. Sometimes we move from one city to the other. Sometimes we accept roles we shouldn't accept because they're really not what we are used to play. And then suddenly, we discover something great about ourselves by interpreting something completely new. Sometimes it's about using a language that you're not acquainted with. We have to make a lot of very strong and courageous decisions throughout our career in order to get noticed. If you're always playing it safe and you don't make any strong and important decisions for your character, for that moment where you came from and what kind of environment you're finding yourself, if you like what you're perceiving, if you like your character, if you like your counterpart, all these things, how you feel. Usually when I ask actors, like, how do you feel when you start the scene? And usually the answer is like, I'm not sure. Or I feel worried about what? About the situation. And how does that affect you? Well, it kind of, it's depressing. Yeah, and then why don't you show that? Be depressed. Yeah, but if I'm depressed during the scene, it won't be interesting. No, it will be interesting as long as you believe in it and you stick to that program and you really kind of dive into that depression and you kind of explore all the boundaries of the depression of that character. Then it becomes real and tangible and authentic. And then it's important, then it's a great performance. Whether or not that perfectly fits into the script or not is not the point of, going to the audition. It's showing what you got inside of yourself and where your craft is in this very moment in time. And that means that you have to make some important decisions. Are you happy in that scene as a character? Does your mood change all of a sudden in that scene? Display those changes strongly, show them separately, make them bold, make them big, make them sharp. We have to kind of precisely perceive how that character feels. If a character is interesting, the story can be sometimes secondary. If the character is strong enough and important enough and believable enough, then the story, it is great and important to have a beautiful story kind of supporting the character's evolution. But the character itself is what we're attached to, not so much to the story. Sometimes great movie stories don't make sense or are overly complicated or sometimes even banal. But the characters in that story are so great and so important and so outstanding, and they have all made strong and very important decisions that you kind of follow them because you want to know how this is going to end. Every time somebody steps up and makes an important decision, we are almost forced to listen to this person. Whether or not we like it or not, that's written on a second sheet of paper. But the first impact is made by taking a bold and courageous move. Sometimes little things, sometimes big things, but you have to make those decisions and stick to them. Not leaving the ballpark immediately as soon as you got a few strikes just because, your whole game theory is not working right from the start. Well, then adjust and then compensate and put the right players onto the field, and then you will see you can turn this game around and bring it home. Make outstanding decisions about your character. Where is he from? Where is he going? What's his current mood? What's the purpose of your character being in that scene? And it can be exaggerated, it can be outrageous sometimes. It can be senseless from the spectator's point of view in the beginning, and then at the end it makes total sense because you showed them how you got there by playing the arc. But you had figured out something previously for yourself that was totally in tune what you were desiring to obtain out of that audition, out of that scene, and now you're just following that and you're believing in that. But you can't do that without taking a strong and making a strong decision and really stand somewhere. We want to see characters that are standing for something, that are making a decision, whether that's an irrational, a stupid, a beautiful, a smart decision, it doesn't matter, but they are standing for something and they are defending that through their actions and through what they are saying and what behavior they are displaying. Does that make sense? Please let me know in the comment section below, because truly, talking about the long-term relationship with the casting director, talking about making it in movie business industry and entertainment industry, it's about leaving a mark. It's about getting recognized and remembered by the people in charge. And when you have your production meetings and your directional meetings and your callbacks and all that, it's all about standing out. It's all about leaving that nuance of what you're standing for, leaving that color, leaving that intensity, leaving that energy. Well, he decided for that. He went for that. That was wrong in my opinion, but I liked how he did it. And being coherent with your choices that you are making shows the casting director that you are really believing in your craft. And then it can be corrected afterwards, but first show them, what's your decision? What does your character really, really want? How does your character feel in this very unique moment of the character's history? Fill out the blank spots, because your character is coming from a place and he's going somewhere else, and you have to kind of take that in. And if you take that in seriously and authentically, and you are honest with yourself, when maybe you wrote a little background story, a little bio, and you know exactly what your character went through, then as a consequence of your reasoning, of your thinking, of your creation, the character must act in this way and feels this way and is in this particular mood. And that you will display. Now we have sharp angles. Now we have something to work with. Now we have an enriched, interesting character that tells us something. You don't need to be likable. And if you're playing it so or trying to play it safe, you're not making any bold and irrational and strong decisions about how your character feels or where he comes from and all that, then it's all liquefied. It's all a muddle of emotions. It's a milieu, it's an environment that kind of stands for everything and nothing at all. It will taste bland and not really spicy. It won't deliver any deeper message, meaning, flavor or temperature, and won't leave any trace. They won't remember you after you left the room if you are playing it like everybody else is playing, because that's mediocre. That means also that you might risk to fail sometimes. It's just the first attempt in learning. That's what failure means. Fail means first attempt in learning. Okay, that was my first attempt. Try the second time. Okay, another failure. Try the third time. Starts to work. Fourth time, now it's perfect. There is no. There is no now it stops just because you failed an audition. It's just the next opportunity that will show up. But you have to make decisions, and they will remember you for your decisions. The casting director looks for someone who is creative and who is in charge of his character, who knows exactly what he's doing. And the flip side of this coin means also, I can work with this person. Because if the casting director perceives that an actor has taken an active decision on how he wants to display this imagined life, there must be a logic and a reasoning and a coherent behavior behind this. So that means there is a craft behind, and where the casting director assumes a strong and built out craft, where then he assumes this is also a great person to work with, because obviously this person has total control over its instruments, and I have total control over my instrument. And so in the middle we have antithesis, we have the thesis, and we have the result. Now we're getting to a synthesis, we are getting to a result. It's like a magical process. We have two imaginary products, two imaginary visions, two imaginary substances, and they're coming together and creating a new substance. And that's what acting is, reacting, and the chain reaction of all these emotions is actually all about. So make strong decisions to stand out in the casting director's office, to really kind of portray for what you are actually standing for as a human being, as a professional, and as the character in the scene.